focus our attention on the Divine Master and his teachings. Shanti Hari Om Tat Sat Om Sthapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Sthapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to sharpen our intellect so that we can distinguish clearly what is true, what is not true, what is unreal, what is real, what is changing and what is not changing, what is perishable, what is imperishable. Let us pray to the Divine Spirit in the form of Sri Ramakrishna to light the lamp of knowledge in our hearts, to remove all ignorance clouding our heart. Let us pray to the Divine to free us from bondage. Let us know the mystery of death. Let us realize or experience our true nature of immortality. Sri Ramakrishna gave many instructions to various sections of people coming from various denominations. There were people who were worshippers of God with form. There were people who were worshipping formless aspect. There are so many varieties. But Sri Ramakrishna could satisfy all these people, show them the correct way to proceed onwards in their march. Every path leads to the same goal. So it was so inspiring to all sections of people who would come to him, and to experience that supreme truth embodied in Sri Ramakrishna. He has told the great spiritual truths in a very simple way. It is very simple, so we can understand without any complications. The first thing Sri Ramakrishna tells is that this world is a frying pan. The whole play has been described in this one word, frying pan. The more you are in that pan, the more you get burnt. The nature of the firing pan, the frying pan's nature is to burn. It burns you nicely, squarely, fully, completely, wholly, so that nothing is left over. If you want to be burnt, wonderful, go ahead, get yourself burnt. If you want to hug the world, hug it by all means, enjoy it. Don't blame anybody. Don't show finger to anyone else. You have hugged it, so you are having the experience of it. That's what Sri Ramakrishna tells. How many difficulties, how many crises we come across in the life, still we cling on. We cling on to this ever-changing world. We never try to give up what is dangerous to us. We are so foolish. Even though the poison is getting into our system, we are completely, totally unaware of it. So, we have to pay a very high price for that. What is that price? Suffering. Suffering. You have to learn. There are so many ways of learning. You can learn through the teacher. You can learn by mere observation, just seeing what is happening in this world. And you can learn becoming associated with people of wisdom. There are so many ways of learning. It all depends upon how far your ego is under control. If you are too much egoistic, there is little chance of learning. So, you have to judge yourself. It's not simply telling I am coming to Vedanta Society since 40 years. What of that? During these 40 years of your experience, have you been able to conquer your ego? Have you become more humble and devoted? Have you become selfless and free from jealousy? Free from heart burning? What's the use if you don't improve your life? Putting attendance is not important thing. Of course, you are better than those who are not coming. That satisfaction you may have. But what about your life's fulfillment? What have you achieved during these 40 years of coming over here? When you come in the beginning, you are so soft, so tender, so loving, etc. Slowly you become more and more selfish, more and more arrogant, hearty. Oh, I am coming from 40 years to the Vedanta Society. Who is this man coming yesterday talking to me this way? The serpent ego is nicely raising its hood. Sri Ramakrishna just laughs over it. What kind of spiritual sadhana these people are doing? So he compares this world to a frying pan. The more you are looking into the worldly things and worldly matters, the more difficult for you to turn to God. It is very simple. Worldly associations and worldly habits, they block the light of Atman shining in your heart. Angushtamatra jyotihi jvalante. It is said in the Mundaka Upanishad that divine spirit, it is dwelling in your heart, in the heart of the Christian, in the heart of the Hindu, in the heart of anybody, any being, animal, plant, any being. More so in the human being. It is manifesting in the form of light of the size of thumb. Anybody can see that light, provided you remove the coverings, veils that are blocking the light of the Atman. The spiritual practice essentially means tearing off the veils one by one. Tearing off the veils. The more you tear off the veils, the more it becomes transparent. That's what Sri Ramakrishna does. Don't get lost. Don't get burnt. Don't reduce yourself to a state of utter helplessness and wretchedness by roasting continuously in the frying pan of the world. What he means by that? He is meant you must turn your mind to God, however difficult it is. That's the truth. It might be very difficult. There is no other way. That's the first point which Sri Ramakrishna has said. Second point, Sri Ramakrishna is making you more and more practical in your approach to God, not simply theorizing and becoming a pandit. There are hundreds of thousands of university professors who can give volumes of lectures on all these metaphysical subjects. They can even produce research papers. They might have got PhDs, 4 PhD, 5 PhD. There was one person here who coming to the ashram who was having double PhD. So what? Unless you practice what you are talking about, it is useless. Instead of putting in the paper, you are putting in the mouth. That's all. Nothing short of that. Sri Ramakrishna is stressing you, put into practice what you want to do it. Don't talk anymore. The more you become practical, the less you talk. The more you talk, the less you are impractical. Be ready to take all these truths. Then you are called the true disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. You have received the mantra of Sri Ramakrishna. How you are nourishing that mantra. How far you are doing meditation and also. How far you are practicing all the necessary essentials required for making your meditation successful. It is very important that you maintain a spiritual diary to find out yourself how far you are marching onwards, whether you are marching at all or whether you are retarding, going backwards instead of going forward in the name of practice. The more you practice you do, the more sattvic you must become in your behavior, in your activities. There must be peacefulness, a kind of cheerfulness, a kind of wholeheartedness. These are the features of a person marching onwards. The one thing needful is to know how to cross the river of the world. And God alone is real and all else illusory. If the scriptures help you towards that end, welcome. But if you remain a mere pandit without any practical approach, fie upon them. Sri Ramakrishna tells a story, very interesting. You know, several people were crossing Ganges in boat. There is a Pandit, well versed in all the scriptures. He had studied Sankhya, he had studied Patanjali Yoga Shastra, he had studied all the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, whatnot. Shat Darshanas, 6 systems of philosophy he had studied. So he was so boastful of what he had studied. And he was always very eager to blurt out, to talk something. He can't keep quiet. Even if there is nobody, he will talk to wall. So when all the passengers was traveling to cross the river Ganga in the boat, it so happened there was a simple passenger sitting by his side. He was sitting by himself contented, not desiring anything to be heard or to be talked to. He was content in his own way. But this Pandit was restless because he wanted to show his scholarship. I am a big Pandit. I am 10 PhD. Why should I not share my knowledge with these people? What do these people know? So he began to coax that passenger. Do you know Sankhya? Have you studied Patanjali Yoga Shastra? The man quietly replied, no sir, I have not studied Patanjali Yoga Shastra, I have not studied even Sankhya. Is it so? Then you are gone. He just condemned him. He just was scornful about him. And he said he had spent his life in vain. Poor man could not argue with this Pandit. He simply kept silent. It so happened at that time, a great storm arose. Big storm. The whole boat was shaking terribly, and all the passengers in the boat were frightened. The boat was about to sink. Then this simple passenger asked the Pandit, "Sir, do you know how to swim?" Now Pandit could not reply. He kept silent. He didn't want to be silent, but the circumstance forced him to be silent. It's called silence of restlessness. It's not silence coming out of peacefulness. He was restless totally. He was terribly frightened. He may lose his life any moment. So he said, "Well, I don't know how to swim." Then the passenger said quietly, "Sir, I don't know your Sankhya, Patanjala and Shaddarshanas, all those systems of philosophy, but I can swim. I know how to cross this river, though I might not have studied the scriptures." In your case, you have studied all the scriptures, but you don't know how to cross. What a fine story Sri Ramakrishna has given. What a wonderful lesson we have to draw from it. It doesn't mean that we should not study. It doesn't mean that. Don't mistake that way. What is Sri Ramakrishna is saying is, alongside, along with studies, do practice side by side. Do practice side by side. Don't simply become dry Pandit, morning to night simply arguing some dry subject. No. Practice, 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 practice. So, that's the second point which Sri Ramakrishna said. Now, since the master's arm was injured, he was most of the time on the ordinary level of consciousness because of the injury in the arm. Now he was finding joy in a different way. How? He was now finding joy in the Naralila. Naralila. That is the human manifestation of God. Divya Leela, Naralila. The whole thing is sport. Nitya and Leela. Is it easy to understand it? It is beyond the power of the mind to understand the devious ways through which God leads man to himself. God is at every one of us, though we are not at him. So, God is always looking into how this guy should be drawn to myself. This fool is going too much, getting lost in this frying pan. I must draw him So, Bhagavan shows his grace, makes him turn towards him. When God embodies himself as man, he does so for the good of the whole world, not for some particular area, for a few beings here and there. No. The Supreme Divine Spirit takes the form, human form, in order to show the way to the whole world. That's because of his pure compassion. Now I am talking about Ishvara, Vishwatma, Vishwaprabhu, Jagat Prabhu. When you are aware of this world, when you are aware of this creation, you must be aware of the law of nature. The whole universe is being governed by God with a special form. He may not be visible to us, to our gross eyes, but He is very much there. God is present in the form. Don't forget that. God is present in the form to govern this creation, to see the creation goes on well. He retains that form, the divine form, full of love and compassion, supervising, directing all the activities of the whole creation, distributing the work to different aspects of power. So you find the galaxy of gods and goddesses. Each one has a special power to look into the needs of the creation. Sun, moon, earth, these are all different forms of God, providing the needs of the people. All this is done because of ever-flowing compassion. Karuna, Karuna. Karuna Murti Bhagavan. So, He incarnates Himself in the human form on account of His Karuna. That Karuna has got special power. It is like a laser beam. It burns all your impurities, however deep they are inside your heart. Just a look of the incarnation is enough to raise your mind. He is self-sufficient. He is purity Himself. He is intelligent and ever free. He doesn't have any purpose to serve in this world, just as we always talk about duties, duties, duties. Morning to night we talk and we are not fed up with that word. Duty, duty, duty. You die in duty. God is not bound by these kinds of duties. Why? Because He is complete in Himself. He has nothing to attain or not to attain. But then, when the world becomes burdened and there is prevalence of irreligion, the all-merciful Lord, by His own free will, incarnates Himself as man to save the fallen and ameliorate the lot of the world. What happens when the incarnation comes? There will be a flood of spirituality. You can feel it. You can enjoy it yourself. That is the occasion for us to be blessed. It's easy to get the light of knowledge through the association of incarnation. and many attain liberation. Though there are various religious paths and number of scriptures and holy places in every country, in course of time, all those ideals become lost. Therefore, God incarnates Himself so as to explain the subtleties of religion and to show the ideal. To show the ideal. So you should note that avatar or incarnation is not born as the result of karma, as we are bound by karma. If you don't have faith in God, if you don't practice any sadhana to develop your spiritual consciousness, then what happens? You are dragged down by your own karma. The doctrine of karma pulls you here and there, throws you here and there, puts you here and there. So you will be in the hands of the karma. You can't get rid of it. This moment you are here, next moment you are there. You are tossed until you become tired. Doctrine of karma is like that. Your actions, your thinking will pull you in so many directions. If your thoughts are disorganized, your life also will be disorganized. If your character is not well formed, your life also will be in the same way. But avatar or incarnation is not bound by this kind of karma. Is beyond this karma. How can you have any ignorance? The doctrine of karma comes into play when you are ignorant. It is the eternal Brahman in his fullness, the Lord of Maya, who descends with the help of Maya, and he returns to his abode, his own state, after the need of the age is fulfilled. All spiritual practices that the incarnation undertakes, all the austerities he undergoes, are merely to set an example to others, to hold an ideal before man. So, the authenticity of the practices and the austerities is highlighted in the life of incarnations. Incarnation is God Himself. He is infinity itself. Where can He have any finitude? Swami Akhandanandaji, one of the 16 disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, said, the incarnation of God is a complete and perfect ideal. As much of it as you can comprehend is yours. See? With these words, I conclude my comments on my last class. Page 393, Sunday, March 2, 1884. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the small couch in his room, listening to devotional music by Trilokya Sanal of the Brahma Samaj. He had not yet recovered from the effects of the injury to his arm, which was still supported by a splint. Many devotees, including Narendra, Surendra and M, were sitting on the floor. Narendra's father, a lawyer of the High Court of Calcutta, had passed away suddenly. He had not been able to make provision for the family, which consequently faced grave financial difficulties. The members of the family sometimes had to go without food. Narendra, the future Vivekananda, was therefore passing his days in great anxiety. Trailokya sang about the Divine Mother. O Mother, I hide myself in thy loving bosom. I gaze at thy face and cry out, Mother, Mother. I sink in the sea of bliss and I am lost to sense. In yoga sleep, I gaze with unwinking eyes upon thy face, powerless to turn away. O Mother, I am terrified by this world. My spirit trembles and cries out in fear. Keep me, sweet Mother, in thy loving bosom. Cover me with the spreading skirt of thy love. The Master shed tears of love and cried out, Ah me, ah me. Trailokya sang again, O Lord, destroyer of my shame, who but thyself can save the honor of thy devotees? Thou art the ruler of my soul, my very life's support, and I am thy slave for evermore. He continued, seeking a shelter at thy feet, I have forever set aside my pride of caste and race, O Lord, and turned my back on fear and shame. A lonely pilgrim on life's way, where shall I go for succor now? For thy sake, Lord, I bear men's blame. They rail at me with bitter words and hate me for my love of thee. Both friends and strangers use me ill. Thou art the guardian of my name. Thou mayest save or slay me, Lord. Upon the honor of thy servant rests, O Lord, thy name as well. Thou art the ruler of my soul, the glow of love within my heart. Do with me as it pleases thee. Once more he sang, Lord, thou hast taken me from home and made me captive with thy love. Shield me forever at thy feet, O thou beloved one. Upon the nectar of thy love, feed me both day and night, and save Premadas, who is thy slave. The Master again shed tears of joy. He sang some lines from a song of Ram Prasad. Glory and shame, bitter and sweet, are thine alone. This world is nothing but thy play. Then why, O blissful one, dost thou cast a rift in it? Addressing Trailokya, the Master said, Ah, how touching your songs are. They are genuine. Only he who has gone to the ocean can fetch its water. Trailokya sang again. Thou it is that dancest, Lord, and thou that singest the song. Thou it is that clappest thy hands in time with the music's beat. But man Who is an onlooker merely, foolishly thinks it is he. Though but a puppet, man becomes a god if he moves with thee. Thou art the mover of the machine, the driver of the car. But man is weighted down with woe, dreaming that he is free. Thou art the root of everything, thou the soul of our souls, thou art the master of our hearts. Through thine unbounded grace, thou turnest even the meanest sinner into the mightiest saint. The singing came to an end. The master engaged in conversation with the devotees. The master said, God alone is the master, and again, he is a servant. This attitude indicates perfect knowledge. At first one discriminates, no, this, not this, not this, not this, and feels that God alone is real and all else is illusory. Afterwards, the same person finds that it is God himself who has become all this, the universe, Maya, and the living beings. First negation and then affirmation. This is the view held by the Puranas. A bilva fruit, for instance, includes flesh, seeds and shell. You get the flesh by discarding the shell and seeds. But if you want to know the weight of the fruit, you can't find it if you discard the shell and seeds. Just so, one should attain Satchidananda by negating the universe and its living beings. But asked, how has Satchidananda become so hard? This earth does indeed feel very hard to the touch. The answer is that blood and semen are thin liquids, and yet out of them comes such a big creature as man. Everything is possible for God. First of all, reach the indivisible Satchidananda, and then coming down, look at the universe. You will then find that everything is its manifestation. It is God alone who has become everything. The world by no means exists apart from him. All elements finally merge in Akasha. Again, at the time of creation, Akasha evolves into Mahat, and Mahat into Ahankar. In this way, the whole world system is evolved. It is a process of involution and evolution. A devotee of God accepts everything. He accepts the universe and its created beings, as well as the indivisible Satchidananda. But the yogi's path is different. He doesn't come back after reaching the Paramatman, the Supreme Soul. He becomes united with it. The partial knower limits God to one object only. He thinks that God cannot exist in anything beyond that. There are three classes of devotees. The lowest one says God is up there. That is, he points to heaven. The mediocre devotee says that God dwells in the heart as the inner controller. But the highest devotee says God alone has become everything. All that we perceive is so many forms of God. Narendra used to make fun of me and say, yes, God has become all. Then a pot is God, a cup is God. Laughter. All doubts disappear when one sees God. It is one thing to hear of God, but quite a different thing to see Him. A man cannot have 100% conviction through mere hearing. But if he beholds God face to face, then he is wholly convinced. Let us stop here. Now your session, my session is over. Your session begins now. Any comments or any questions? You are welcome to ask. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Questions clarify the matter. Anyway, you agree all of you are in the world frying pan. But you have to get up, because halfway also doesn't stop you from burning. Because you'll be all along burning As long as you're in the world, you are getting burnt. You can't be completely free from burning. If you want to be free from pain of burning, you have to get out of that pan. It's very simple. So getting out of the frying pan means renunciation. Renunciation means getting out of desires. Getting out of desires means freeing yourself from attachment, free from all clingings to this, that, etc. That's the way. Anyway, everything is open. Some people want to walk in the darkness. Let them go. Some people carry light while walking in the darkness. Some people want to go only daytime. So various groups are there, various types of people are there. But Sri Ramakrishna has given wonderful teachings in the Gospel. Concentrate on the ideas which he has given. It's more than everything, more than whatever you want. Everything is given out in so simple, effective words. Repeatedly, Sri Ramakrishna has said many times, the essentials of spiritual life. So, we must keep on telling to our mind, why did they do so much of austerities? It only shows that we need to do austerities. Discipline is very important. Without discipline, how can you expect any result in your spiritual life? Well, with these words I conclude my talk. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O Sweet One. In Thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. O how I long for the day when instant inspiration from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. And my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence. Though it tears my soul asunder, O Thou, who stillest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the world be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.